Hey, this is Rocket Brain Surgeon, and today we're looking at a ridiculous game Garbad pulled off in the Object 704. The Object is a Tier 9 Russian tank destroyer characterized by excellent camo and a huge gun. Sporting 750 alpha, he's shooting premium ammo out of it to give him a little flexibility. That's around 330 penetration, so he can make shots right through the face of a turret. We're on Cliff, and he's doing something that's pretty subtle. When you fire, the camouflage rating of the bushes around you, within about 15 meters, I believe, goes to 0. So he's staying far enough back from the bush so he won't get spotted when he fires. He's allowing his teammates to spot for him so he can fire mostly undetected. He is getting proximity spotted at the moment. There's a medium tank in the E6 area, which is lighting him up because it is within 50 meters. Also, he is sitting this far back because it allows an easy escape point. He just backs up and he disappears over the ridge. This poor Tiger P gets to experience that 750 alpha firsthand. If we take a look at the mini-map, we can see that things are going pretty well for the green team. They have the control of the donut, which is always good because this gives them multiple lines of fire on their opponents. The red team is clustered and facing fire from multiple sides. They're out in the open. Artillery kills another tank. It's really not looking great for the red team. One of the issues that people don't understand on Cliff is you don't want to push on the far east side around the horn. The reason why is look at on the minimap where those tanks are gathered. After that point, it's really hard to make any progress because when you're going from that far east location and you're pushing away from it, there's nowhere to push. There's just 400 meters of open terrain when the red team can shoot you from the A5 square. There's frequently camouflage TDs sitting up there. You're in the open for artillery, and the people around the E6, E7 area can bleed you as you come around that corner. Not to mention the damage that you're going to take when you're in that face-to-face engagement. So I really hate the east push around the bend, plus it takes a long time. If your team fails elsewhere, you can get capped out really quickly and just be on the terrible side of the map, especially on slow tanks. So Garbad has gotten YOLO'd in the middle, and while they were not successful in taking him out, they did take out the teammates, and the picture has changed somewhat. So now the green team has lost control of the donut, and that's very important. The tanks on the east side are pretty much out of position. They're outnumbered. They can't move beyond that area. What are they controlling? They're not controlling any vision. There's no offensive hope there, and they actually get crushed from just normal attrition in the peekaboo. So what once looked like a comfortable advantage has now turned into what looks like certain defeat. Garbad has one nearby teammate, Yag Panther, around the east bend that he should go and support, and he's moving to go and support him. The reason why is when you get caught with a tank destroyer, there's always that problem where you could get your casemate hugged from the side and be completely useless and killed before you're able to rub them off. He gets hit by artillery but lets it repair simply because there's no reason. He can't, if the JP's going to die, which the JP died, he can't get over there in time anyway, and artillery can't reload fast enough. It's a lower 155, 51, which can't reload in time to hit him again. Garbad is effectively surrounded, and when you're surrounded, you want to pick a direction and head there. You don't want to sit and get picked off from all sides. Just pick one direction towards enemies and go. He's moving back from the Tiger 2 while he reloads, being very cautious not to have someone fly around like that Cairn and hug his casemate. That's what he's trying to protect against. That's why it might be looks like he's being overly cautious, because if he gets his casemate hugged, that's completely disastrous for him. He also knows that there are several tanks around this bend, but not entirely sure how many. There's a good thing on the mini-map. The E50 is over in H1 engaging the T28 prototype. Why is that a good thing? Because the E50 is mobile enough to get around the object and hug his casemate. Having a medium on the other side of the map is comforting. So a JT and a Tiger pop up in front of Garbad. He eliminates the JT. The Tiger P is all alone and not really fast enough to hug his casemate, and Garbad actually takes him out in a very stylish ram. When Garbad gets back to the 1-2 line, it's a relatively comfortable situation for him. He's able to engage in long-range combat. He is actually outside of visual range. He's outside of the 450 meters where the enemy is able to spot him. The T-28 prototype does something really good before he dies. He hits the E50 for enough to make it a one-shot to Garbad. That's pretty awesome. The camo on the 704 is incredibly strong. Garbad is going to be about 360 meters away from both the E50 and the IS-2. They are not able to see him, but he is able to see them. Since the E50 is one shot, this gives a massive advantage as he'll be able to aim down while completely hidden. The E50 has no idea it's coming, and he's just going to die for nothing. The game has finally swung around in the green team's favor, however, it's not over yet. There's still the possibility that Artie just gets wiped out here. There's still the possibility where he gets his casemate hugged and then quickly gets destroyed. One of the things that he's doing that's really nice is he is closing the distance. A lot of people would try to sit and just snipe the IS-2 and really wait for nothing because the IS-2 is not going to expose himself to the 704. Here Garbad makes use of auto-aim so he can get the shot off as quickly as possible and goes for another ram kill, but no joy. So close. In general, ramming is incredibly underrated. The weight differences between the tanks make it so that even if a larger tank kind of brushes a smaller tank, sometimes a surprising amount of HP is lost. And there's the expected artillery shot. It's an end game, and there are 5 minutes left on the clock. This is very important. One person sitting on the enemy cap, it takes them 3 minutes to cap it out. So if there were under 3 minutes left, or probably about 3 minutes 30 seconds left, artillery would have to come with Garbad, and both of them would have to cap it out. But they're deciding to kill the enemy artillery. If they don't find the artillery in time, Garbad still has the option of sitting on cap. The enemy artillery actually makes a good decision, and he's going to cap. Remember, it takes 3 minutes for a single person to cap, and he also has the possibility of killing the 704 and M40, M43. Now, it's a remote chance that he kills both these tanks, but I think the enemy is doing the correct thing to win the game here. The Lorraine is pretty mobile, and in general, I think a lot of people playing artillery underutilize that mobility, relocating between shots for better angles, or in end games like this, doing scouting work. Yes, artillery can do scouting work. I equip optics on my French artillery when I play it. There are many games that come down to artillery versus artillery, or artillery versus a handful of big tanks, and you can spot for your artillery to kill the normal tanks of the enemy. So definitely underutilized, and I think artillery should move around a bit. Now, the M43 gets worked by the Lorraine, and this creates kind of a crappy situation for Garbad. He doesn't have the mobility to run around after the 155-51. That sucks. Garbad does have the advantage in that he can one-shot artillery, and artillery most likely can't one-shot him, barring something super lucky like an ammo rack. He does something that's really smart and really subtle. He backs out of proximity spotting range, and he has time on the clock to allow his opponent to make a mistake, which his opponent promptly does. The shot gets derped, whatever. That's going to happen from time to time, but now he's going to reset the situation. Again, he has some time. He can come at artillery from different angles, but artillery just decides to lose the game immediately here. This was an 8,000 damage game in what's basically a tier 8 battle. Crazy stuff. Hope you enjoyed. Happy hunting.